I'm Mariska Hargitay. You probably know me best as Captain Olivia Benson on the TV series Law & Order Special Victims Unit. Law & Order SVU dramatizes the challenges in investigating crimes, apprehending and prosecuting criminals, and supporting victims and their families. The stories we tell are based on persistent, pervasive, difficult realities. The subject of the book that you are about to hear, domestic violence, troubles every layer of society in every corner of the world and demands our urgent attention. At the extreme, domestic violence can end in deaths through homicide and homicide-suicides. The numbers are shocking. In 2017, approximately 30,000 women were killed by an intimate partner across the globe. That's over 82 women per day. One death is one too many. Women and girls face the greatest dangers in intimate relationships. The proportion of intimate homicides committed by an intimate partner is 6 times higher for female homicide victims than male homicide victims. Women are victims in over 90% of domestic homicide suicides. These homicides create tragedies for families and the survivors who are left behind. This type of violence, of course, also impacts people outside the relationship. 1 in 5 homicide victims were not intimate partners themselves, but family members, friends, neighbors, persons who intervened, law enforcement responders, or bystanders. In the U.S. last year, there were over 2,000 domestic homicides, and an estimated 3,300 children were exposed to the aftermath of these murders. These children lost one parent to death and the other to a life sentence, or both to a murder-suicide. The physical and mental impacts of this type of trauma can resonate through families and communities for generations. These deaths didn't have to happen. Domestic homicides are often preceded by warning signs seen by friends, families, neighbors, co-workers, and community professionals like police or social services. Domestic homicides are, in fact, the most predictable and preventable of all homicides. Often, the friends, family, co-workers, and professionals who had contact with the victim and/or perpetrator didn't know what to do, didn't know what to say. They may have been hesitant to share their worries. Frontline professionals in policing and social services may have lacked awareness or training about domestic violence warning signs. Research repeatedly points to DV homicide risk factors that include a prior history of domestic violence, an actual or pending separation, the presence of a weapon, controlling behavior, strangulation, stalking, and mental health concerns with the perpetrator, among other factors. In hindsight, many people wish they'd taken action, such as speaking to the victim or speaking to the perpetrator and encouraging them to get help. We need more public education and professional training so that we are all aware of the warning signs and have the skills and the resources to act. There is simply no excuse for ignorance. 30 years ago, domestic violence was considered a private matter, but we now know that it is a public safety concern and that it is criminal conduct. There is a far greater onus on professionals to respond appropriately, assess risk, and help with safety planning for the victim and risk management with the perpetrator. The book that you're about to hear addresses all these issues. Preventing Domestic Homicides, Lessons Learned from Tragedies, is written by an internationally renowned psychologist, Peter Jaffe, and his colleagues. Their intent is to educate both the public and professionals so they can better understand the warning signs associated with domestic homicide.